The latest chapter of Sarah Platt's prison nightmare looks set to become even more dangerous as her former friend Casey turns against her and appears determined to make her life unbearable. With the situation rapidly escalating, Sarah could potentially be pushed into taking drastic action against another dangerous enemy. Sarah has already found herself in serious trouble after killing Theo Silverton, but Kit Green and Gary Wendendas have both been determined to help keep her out of prison. Despite their efforts, Sarah's first experience with murder has ultimately resulted in her being locked away, where she has struggled to adjust to life behind bars. Prison has been anything but easy for Sarah. She has repeatedly been intimidated and attacked by tougher inmates, leaving her feeling vulnerable and isolated. At first, however, Sarah believed she had found an unlikely ally in Casey. Casey initially presented herself as someone Sarah could trust, offering friendship and protection after Sarah experienced violence inside prison. But it soon became obvious that there was another reason behind Casey's kindness. Casey had discovered that Sarah's former partner, Kit, works as a police officer and realized that his position could potentially help her family. This week, Casey attempts to take advantage of Sarah's connection to Kit after her son becomes involved in an armed robbery. She wants Sarah to persuade Kit to use his influence to help get her son out of trouble. Unfortunately for Casey, there is one major problem. Sarah has only just ended her relationship with Kit. Sarah made the painful decision to break up with the detective because she feared that staying together could damage his career and ultimately ruin his life. The split leaves both Sarah and Kit devastated, but Sarah believes it is the only way to protect him. When Sarah explains the situation to Casey, she receives absolutely no sympathy. Instead, Casey reacts with anger and warns Sarah that refusing to help could have serious consequences for her physical safety. Desperate to find a solution, Sarah turns to Todd Grimshaw and explains the situation. Todd encourages her to contact Kit, but when Sarah does so, Kit makes it clear that he cannot become involved. As expected, Casey is furious when she learns that Kit has refused to help. Her reaction makes Sarah realize that the threats against her are no longer empty warnings. Her situation becomes even more frightening next week when Casey intensifies her campaign of intimidation. She shows Sarah photographs of Harry Platt while he is visiting his new friend's house. The discovery leaves Sarah horrified, particularly after she finds that her own photograph of Harry has been vandalized with her son's face deliberately scratched out. Terrified that Casey could have plans to hurt Harry, Sarah immediately contacts Adam Barlow and begs him to make sure her son is protected. Adam, Kit, and Bethany Platt begin looking into Harry's new friend's family and attempt to discover whether the child's mother has any connection to Casey. Back in prison, Sarah decides she cannot simply wait for someone else to protect her. She secretly takes pool balls from the prison recreation room and places them inside a sock, creating a makeshift weapon. With the homemade weapon in hand, Sarah appears to be preparing herself for a direct confrontation with Casey. Meanwhile, Kit tells Bethany that he intends to use threats of his own to ensure Sarah remains safe. However, his mother, Bernie Winter-Alhan, steps in and urges him to stop putting himself at risk. Bernie tells Kit that he needs to start thinking about his own safety and well-being instead of becoming consumed by Sarah's problems. That leaves Sarah facing Casey seemingly on her own. As Sarah approaches Casey's cell carrying her improvised weapon, the tension reaches breaking point. She is already shown that she is capable of killing when someone she loves is threatened. And now Harry's safety appears to be at the center of another potentially violent confrontation. Could Casey's threats push Sarah into committing another deadly act? And if the confrontation turns violent, will Casey become the next person added to Sarah's growing list of enemies? Coronation Street star reveals fan backlash left her grandmother upset. Former Coronation Street actress Pharrell Hegarty has spoken about the strong reaction to her character, Lewis, admitting that some of the harsh comments from viewers online even left her grandmother upset. Lou quickly made her presence felt when she arrived on the cobbles with her husband Mick in early 2025. Known for her outspoken personality, fiery temper, and confrontational behavior, the character immediately divided opinion among viewers. As Lou's storyline developed, however, audiences were given the chance to see a much more vulnerable side of her personality. Her time on the ITV soap included a powerful domestic abuse storyline, while a special flashback episode explored her complicated history with Kit Green during their younger years. Speaking about the audience's response to Lou on the It Started With a Kiss podcast, Frell revealed that she had already been warned that viewers might not take kindly to her character. The actress explained that because Lou was introduced as one of the show's villains, she expected there to be plenty of negative reactions from fans. Frell also recalled a conversation with co-star Joe Layton, who asked whether she had looked at what viewers were saying about her online. Although he advised her against reading the comments, the warning only made her more curious. Frell joked that being told not to look was almost guaranteed to make her want to investigate. Before long, she found herself falling down a social media rabbit hole and reading through the comments about her character. However, the online criticism did not only affect Frell herself. The actress recalled discovering that her grandmother, who is a huge Street fan, had also been looking at the comments. Frell remembered asking her grandmother whether she had read what people were saying, only to receive a simple confirmation that she had. The actress joked that upsetting her was one thing, but upsetting her grandmother was completely different. Frell has also experienced other bizarre rumors about her personal life while being discussed online. Following her departure from the ITV soap, she came across social media posts falsely claiming that she was pregnant and engaged. Rather than being upset by the ridiculous claims, Frell appeared amused by them and filmed herself laughing as she explained that the rumors were completely untrue. Coronation Street delivered an emotional prison storyline on Monday evening as Sarah Platt was finally reunited with her former best friend Todd Grimshaw. Earlier this year, Sarah, played by Tina O'Brien, was revealed to have killed Theo Silverton, the abusive partner of her close friend Todd. She is now behind bars after being charged with his murder, leaving her life completely changed. When Todd, portrayed by Gareth Pierce, originally discovered that Sarah was responsible for Theo's death, he was devastated and refused to maintain their friendship. His anger was made even worse by the fact that Sarah had initially allowed his daughter Summer to face the consequences instead. However, Sarah's situation eventually caused Todd to reconsider his decision. After Sarah ended her relationship with DC Kit Green because she feared that being involved with her could damage his police career, she asked Todd to come and see her in prison. Despite everything that had happened between them, Todd agreed to make the visit. The reunion quickly became emotional when Todd noticed that Sarah had bruises on her face. Sarah admitted that another prisoner had attacked her, and explained that she felt powerless to prevent the violence from continuing. Todd was clearly moved by what he saw and reassured Sarah that he would not simply stand by while his friend was being mistreated. Sarah reminded him that he had previously told her that their friendship was over. Todd admitted that he had spent a lot of time thinking while he was away and had begun to understand just how frightened Sarah must have been. Although he still struggled to accept that Sarah had allowed Summer to take the blame, Todd made it clear that he had not forgotten the person he had known for years. He acknowledged that Sarah had made a terrible mistake, but insisted that he still believed she was fundamentally a good person and had always been a loyal friend. Todd then delivered an emotional declaration of affection, telling Sarah that despite everything that had happened, he still loved her. Sarah became tearful and returned the sentiment, telling Todd that she loved him, too. Coronation Street airs on week. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Coronation Street News 24.